A warm greetings to all. Today we are going to see a topic from the course Python programming. Here in this course or in this video we are going to see about the topic set to be iterations. Okay, so iteration means it is an ability to run a block of statements repeatedly, right? So if you need to execute a statement repeatedly or if you need to execute some conditions repeatedly, then we can go for this process set to be iterations. Okay, right? So how many times we need to execute that? Okay, so up to that time we can make the program or make the statements to be executed, right? So this can also be said as looping or repetition. Okay, so it can also be said as looping or repetition. So here we can do this repetition in three types. One is using while statement, second it is using for statement, and the final thing is by using the nested loops, that is nested while or nested for statement. Okay, right? The mode of execution is similar to that of C, C++, and Java, but here only the syntax will get differed between those programming language and Python. Okay, so here the looping statement should be followed, or the looping statement should be returned by following these steps. Okay, right? So here we need to have an initialization of condition variables, then we need to give the test or the test expression or the test control statement, then we have to write the execution of the body based upon the condition, right? How we need to execute the body or how we need to execute that loop, and finally we have a condition variable, right? So we have to update the condition variable, right? So on each execution we need to update the condition variable, right? So this is similar to that of while and for statement in C, C++, and Java programming language, right? So in the iteration, first we need to see the statement set to be while. Okay, so here we need to write a keyword set to be while followed by the test expression, and at the end of the test expression we have to write a colon. Okay, so next we have to, below the colon or below the first statement, that is while statement, you have to write the body of the program which has to be executed, right? Okay, so here if the statement gets evaluated and if you get the result to be true, the body of the loop will be executed. Okay, so once the condition gets failed, the body of the loop will not be executed, but instead the program will get stopped at that position. Okay, so that is the case of this while statement. So here you can see the syntax of while statement. So while, then inside the brackets you have to provide the test expression, then you have to put the colon, and below that you have to write the body of the loop with indentation. Okay, you have to write it with the indentation, and here in the flowchart you can see the while statement, how the flow will be, right? So here the condition, everything will be returned, and the test expression, if the test expression is true, the body of the while loop will be executed, right? Again it will go to the text expression. Once the test expression become false, it will get exited, or the loop will be getting exited. Next, the for statement, right? So here for executing some sequence, okay, so to execute some sequence or to iterate some sequence, then we can go for the for statement. Okay, the for statement we can go for using iterations of any data types which are coming out of the sequence data types. Okay, and also in addition to that we can also use the integers for also for doing the iterations. Okay, right? So you can use the integer also, right? Most probably we will be using the sequence data type. Okay, right? So this will also execute the statements again and again until the condition gets failed. So it will be categorized as a loop, or it can be said as for statement or for loop. Okay, so here you can see the statement or the syntax. Okay, so for, then you have to write the iterating variable, then you have to use the in operator or the in membership operator, then you have to specify the sequence. Okay, at the end you can provide the colon, and in the next line after the indentation you can provide the statements to get executed, right? So here the flow of statement will also be similar to that of the while loop. Okay, so how we shall use the sequence, right? So here in this case, for iterating in sequence we have used the syntax, and how we can use it, right? So here what you have to do is like this. Okay, for loop in Python is used to iterate over a sequence, that is you can use list, tuple, or string. Okay, So making this iteration is said to be traversal. Okay, so we will be using the term traversal for these iterations. Okay, so here apart from the sequence, if you need to work out with some values, then you can go for using the range function. Okay, you can go for using the range function. This is a built-in function. Okay, right? So this range function will generate the arithmetic progressions automatically. Okay, so it will do the arithmetic progressions automatically, right? So here the value will not be getting stored anywhere, but this range function will keep the steps. Okay, so it will keep the starting value, ending value, and the step which has to be executed. Okay, that is the case of this range function. And the nested loops means you can have one loop inside another. Okay, so in both the for loop as well as in while loop, you can have the nested loop. Okay, so now we shall see some example of while for loops. Okay, so here you can see a while loop statement, right? So here we are written this program to print the numbers from 0 to 5. Okay, so if the number is less than or equal to n, okay, so if the value of I is less than or equal to n, the value will be getting printed, right? So here we are initializing the variable, we are writing the test condition, then here we are updating the iterating variable, right? Okay, so we shall execute it. So here you can see the value got printed from 0 to 5. Okay, value got printed from 0 to 5 here, right? So next for statement, so here we have used the range. Okay, we have used the range statement, right? Range function, right? So here the range will, remember that we have to print the value up to 5. Okay, so we have to print the value up to 5, right? So starting from 0 till 5 minus 1, it will print the value. Okay, so we shall run it. So here you can see the value from 0 to 4 has been printed here. Then for sequence, so here sequence we have taken a string here. So here what will be happening is the sequence data types will have its own index number, right? So based on the index number, the value which are present in that index will be printed here. Okay, so now let's execute it. So here you can see the index number and its value, right? The values present in that index is being printed here. Okay, okay, so python likewise it got printed here. And next case is break, continue, and pause statement, right? So break statement is used to terminate a loop. Okay, so if some condition to be executed and if that particular statement is getting executed, we don't want to continue the execution, means we can go for using this break statement. Okay, so for in the for statement as well as in the while statement, you can use this break statement. Similarly continue. Okay, so continue statement will do that. It will, where the continue statement or this statement is being used, it will skip the rest of the code. Okay, so code which is coming below the condition continue statement will be getting skipped, and it will, the control of the flow of the program or control of the program will given to the loop where it belongs to, or to the top of the loop where it belongs to. Okay, that is the case of continue. And the pause statement, so this pause statement will not do anything, right? So if you need to keep the structure, okay, so if you are writing a while statement and if you have to keep the structure as such, you can go for using this pause statement, right? So this pause statement will not do anything, but it will preserve that particular syntax properly. Okay, so nothing will be done or no changes will be done if you are using this pause statement in the program. Okay, so then the else statement in loop, so here you can use, right? So you can also use the else statement inside the for loop as well as in the while loop, right? So here once if the for loop get executed, right? So if we are given the condition and if the condition is not satisfied in the for loop, then what will be happening, the statements written in the else will be getting executed, right? Similar to that of the else statement used in for, else statement used in if statement. Okay, similarly you can use for statement in the while loop also. Okay, thank you.